What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out PLOQuickPro.com. This is Casino Crime.
Together with Alien Slayer, and today we are bringing you the first episode of our three-betting series.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited. What we're going to do is we're going to break this into three different parts. And as Alien Slayer said, this is part one. And without further ado, let's hop into the action. So, in this first hand, Under the Gun opens 3x to 6, and we're on the button and decide to 3-bet for full pot to 21. Now, before we go any further in the hand, I think, in any given hand in poker, of course, opponent tendencies are the most important thing. And in this hand, our read is that the villain is a maniac. Now, we 3-bet a hand that I think a lot of people would consider to be like a trouble hand. I wouldn't necessarily open this from under the gun, but I think in this case, a 3-bet is fine. Yurik, I believe this is a hand that you played, so maybe you could spend a minute talking about why you decided to 3-bet it.
Sure. So on this table, UTG opener was the big spot. He was playing way to lose, opening 50% or more from any position. And as you can see, I'm close to 190 big blinds deep with him. So I definitely want to make sure to play as many hands as possible against him, having the chance to stack him. And therefore, I started to 3-bet him really light, basically to just isolate him.
Yeah, that's very good. In Hold'em, a lot of times a question that you get is, what's the worst hand you would 3-bet here? And I think that it's not quite as applicable in PLO just because hand values aren't quite as defined as they are in Hold'em. And I think that, so for example, for me to ask you, like, would you 3-bet all of your aces? Would you 3-bet all of your kings? Like, what kind of queens hands would you 3-bet? That's not necessarily a valid question. I think the better way to present it is, what hands wouldn't you 3-bet? But I think it's better to look at the structure of the hand. And as we can see here, our hand has a lot of playability in position. It's double suited. It has some reasonable connectedness. And I think that it's a lot better to 3-bet since we're in position. We're against a weaker player. And our hand has some playability post-flop in position. Now, one mistake that I do see a lot of players make is that they call with this on the button. I guess the reasoning is I'm in position, I want to play post-flop, and I want to take a flop with a hand that has some, again, reasonable connectedness, reasonable suitedness, but I think that 3-betting is the much better option. If you see, like, if we do call on the button, we're going to encourage one of the blind players to come along, and we're going to be stuck in kind of a sandwich post-flop. So, although we'll have absolute position post-flop, we'll have poor relative position, and we won't be able to take advantage of our position quite as much. In short, I think that any hand that's worth playing against a weaker player in this kind of situation, I would prefer to 3-bet it instead of peel. Yurik, do you have anything to add to that, or do you agree or disagree, or how would you approach that?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I just want to add that we have to take consideration about the opening range of villain, because there are a lot of weak, loose fish, but that actually don't raise pre-flop a lot. They just limp. So against those, when they choose to open, we definitely don't want to 3-bet them light because they just have a very strong opening range. So we just want to 3-bet really light against players that are way too loose in their opening ranges. And then we really don't have to be too careful about which hands we choose. They just should have some playability, either by being double suited, being connected, having a high pair, having an ace-high suit, whatever brings us potentially like strong hands post-flop. We want to take the chance and play the hand heads up against the fish with initiative.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, against a nit, I would hate this 3-bet because he's opening so much, because he's going to be making a lot of mistakes post-flop. I like it a lot more. So, very good. All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to mention that this is very important to keep in mind that this hand is only a light 3-bet candidate against wide opening ranges, and we definitely don't want to 3-bet that against competent players that have reasonable tight ranges from early positions. because we can get into a lot of trouble when we're actually the ones with a dominated hand range against his openings that include a lot of higher suits and higher Broadway rundowns, and obviously aces and kings, big pairs that also can just 4-bet us pre-flop, and we negate our positional advantage by that way.
Yeah, that's really good. I agree. I like it a lot.